We on.
What up, what up, what up? What is happening? Welcome to this live edition of Herb and 2, alongside the hilarious and interestingly read Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard, man. It's where we get together. We talk about issues currently impacting the black community. We talk about issues that impact the black community individually, but also as a collective and along with your help. We talk through these issues in hopes of finding the optimum solutions for how we can overcome said issues. Again, overcome them individually, but perhaps more importantly, overcome them as a collective. Thank you so very, very much for choosing to be a part of this conversation. As always, your input is valued. It is appreciated. Anything you want to add to the show, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible. We would kindly request that you please take a quick second to share the broadcast, share it on your personal page, share within your personal network, share with anybody that you think would add value to or find value in this particular conversation. Again, this is Herb and 2. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb. His name is 2. 2. What's happening, good brother?
What's up, family? I'm blessed. I don't know if I'm highly favored. I had an asshole of a weekend, but that ain't worth talking about. But I'm definitely still blessed.
Interesting phrases considering some of the topics we're gonna get into today.
Yeah, you're right. Pause. You can't even say get into.
That's pause. Yeah, pause this whole show.
Pause this whole show.
We definitely got some interesting things we're gonna discuss. There's some things obviously going on in politics. State of the Union just went down. We also had the president and the former president campaigning, both of them in Georgia over the weekend as well. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some women's college basketball. It was an interesting weekend in women's college basketball, especially with South Carolina, LSU.
Yeah, they got it popping.
Yeah, they did. We're also going to talk about Diddy. 2 has been saying for a while that Puff is going to jail.
Way before the court cases.
You was the first person to say he was going to jail. I didn't even know what you're talking about. Why is that man going to jail? But you like, he's going to jail. I'm starting to believe you, sir. I'm starting to believe you on that. We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about gatekeeping in Hollywood per the perspective of Ice Cube. And three other things surrounding those things, man. But before we get into some of that, man, how was your weekend? You say not too good?
Some fuck shit, man, but I'm going to make it through. Yeah. You went to Bill Burr, though. Tell me about that.
Yeah, man.
People sleep on Bill Burr, though.
I love
Bill Burr. Probably my favorite white comedian.
Yeah. Do you know another white comedian?
No, I don't.
Nah, Bill Burr is definitely one of my favorite comedians, man. Along with George Carlin,
I know George Carlin, but
he's one of my
old.
favorite white comedians. I like Tom Segura too. But anyway, I did go see Bill Burr.
I have no clue.
No, Tom Segura is funny as hell, man. Went to go see Bill Burr over the weekend, man, and he was out in Gary, and he's hilarious, dog.
He is, bro. He marries a black woman too.
Yeah, and he's a truth teller. He's a fearless truth teller, man. We talk about being in Indiana, which, if you understand Indiana and how red it is, like
red in regards to next state.
Yes. Yes. He went on topics about gun enthusiasts, KKK, calling them hate groups. He was on this old white lady from the back. She yelled out, "They're not hate groups." I said they not? Like they.
Wait. You serious?
I swear to God. He's talking about the KKK. She's like, they're not hate groups. He's like the KKK and the Proud Boys and all these other hate groups. They're not hate groups. Swear to God.
That's wild as hell.
Somebody granny yelled that shit out from the back.
I got the fuck up out of there right there.
I'm in there dying laughing, G. First of all.
Say what? Say that. What?
It's only a few sprinkles of color throughout this crowd. You know what I mean? But I am dying laughing, right? The people next to us, the stone faces, we sitting there like, look at these motherfuckers' faces. They hot, Joe, hot. He was steady going in, man. He also talked about free world man rape. I was like, I think Bill Burr watches the Herb and 2 podcast. He's like, you never hear about that. Unless a guy's in prison, you don't hear about a guy getting raped in the free world. I looked at my partner and said, baby, he's talking about free world man rape.
You started to hear about it now.
Yeah. I don't know if this is well.
It's free world man rape. That's
I don't know
what
if
it
it's
is.
rape.
It's free world man rape.
It's free world. I don't know, volunteer rape.
Man, shout out to everybody listening in the chat. Gardens be knowing shit is correcting me because I said George Carlin was old. I didn't mean it in the context of him being old as being alive. I mean, he's just an older version.
Comedian,
older era.
Yeah,
my bad, bro. I know he did.
The late great George Carlin. I love George Carlin, man. He was a truth teller too, man. His piece on religion as the all-time greatest bullshit story. Like that's his hilarious, man. George Carlin is good. He got another piece on the Ten Commandments, also very good. He got a list of very basically he says this is simply a list of people that ought to be killed. He just go down this list. He's like, here's another group of people who ought to be strapped to a table and beat with hammers. I'm like, damn.
Even in that bit on religion, though, and these are listed of people who should be killed, it's a conversation about power, and he just exposing the bullshit,
yes.
Right? I think that's part of, like, I put the State of Your Union on one of the topics we should address today, right? And I watched the State of the Union last week, man. I was thinking about it, like, man, it's just more of the same, more of the same, more of the same, and Biden's favoritism percentages went up like 17% after that shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, man, we're in the fourth economic revolution of America. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about raising minimum wages. Mm-hmm. You know, he's talking about taxing the wealthy. And not saying these are bad concepts. It just seems like, on one hand, technology is moving at this pace, then government is moving at this pace, or at least pretending to not know what's on the looming horizon. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just very, very antiquated way of thinking, man. It's just more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. And I wonder if it's really more of the same, built on more of the same, or let me keep the sheep in the sheep's place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think more of the same keeps you in the same spot. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to jump too far into that just yet.
I'm gonna follow your lead. Let's get it.
Just yet, but it is a sad state of affairs that these are the two people. We call ourselves the greatest country in the world, and these are the two motherfuckers we got to choose who's gonna lead it. Is wild. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Cherie. I see you in the chat. She sent over the immense court docs from the Diddy thing.
Little Rod Jones. You gotta say pause. You say Little Rod.
Little Rod. Pause. Yeah. So we gonna get into that too, man. I want a quick shout out to Icon the Collection, man. They had their sixth anniversary since they launched their clothing line. They had a fashion show yesterday at Promontory. It was dope. I was there. Pi was there. We was both working a little bit, but playing a lot. But it was dope, man. They did their thing, man. So shout out to Moo, shout out to Lamar, shout out to Jet, man. It was dope, man.
Where was it at?
At Promontory.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was at Promontory. They set it up pretty nice. Had the runway. It was a good time, man. It was a vibe, and there was some eye candy in that place. Let me tell you, okay?
Yeah, fashion shows are usually like that.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? It's intriguing to see how fashion shows like play out.
The audience was dressed like they was on the runway. You know what I mean?
I can't say how
half-dressed.
The rip the runway or them high end fashion shows go. But in the city, like most of the people who put those events on are usually linked to the beauty barbershop kind of crowd.
Yeah.
It's an interesting crowd.
It's an interesting crowd, man. And they were well exposed yesterday. Let's say that.
That's usually how it work in the beauty and barbershops.
Yeah, we had a good time, man. I opened the show hosting like a little bit of it in the beginning. Then I was just hanging out, drinking and talking shit. But it was a good time, man. So shout out to Icon for sure.
Yeah, salute to Icon, man.
Women's college basketball
is the greatest show on earth right now.
Women's college basketball is dominating college athletics right now.
Dominating. G.
Like,
they got legitimately like 4 like legitimate superstar players right now.
I'm not bullshitting you. Okay, I can name Dalen. I don't know that I can name another men's college basketball player.
I can, because some of them been there 4 years, and that's rare. But like I know most of North Carolina's team because they've been there so long.
I can't name all. I do know the big dude. That.
Yeah.
But that's the point. Like Baycott, his name Baycott.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I really don't know.
The women's game is dominating.
The women's game is dominating. Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin getting buckets.
And
Juju getting buckets down there at USC.
Getting buckets. Angel Reese.
Angel Reese way bigger buckets.
Way bigger superstars than anybody.
Flage, like game. You know their names.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they killing.
Man.
I salute to that, man. I that's dope to me.
It is dope.
You know what I mean? Like, we're in this state and place where it's like women don't get the acclaim they deserve. Yeah. And I fight on the other side of that most instances. But these girls is kicking ass. Yeah. You know what I mean? They really are kicking ass, and the world is taking interest, and they deserve it. You know what I mean?
They do.
The little girl from South Carolina, I don't even know her name, and I ain't gonna say little girl because she's a center. She's a big girl.
She's 6'7".
6'7".
She hit the bank three in the semifinals.
Bank three in the semifinals. G, you can't. And shout out to Don Staley, right? Because I saw something the other day, man. Don Staley was my favorite woman point guard of all time.
Mine too.
Right. But the girl who hit the big three is a Brazilian.
Yeah.
And she flew her family in.
That was the first time they seen her
play.
And she hit that shot.
She hit that shot in the semifinals. That's big, G. That's big.
South Carolina's #1 team in the country. They have a super long winning streak, whatever. They won the national championship 2 years ago. Didn't get it done last year. But anyway, they were losing to Tennessee. Now Tennessee historically is one of the blue blood programs in women's college basketball.
The Duke of women's college basketball.
Yeah, they haven't been that, of late. Anyway, they were winning. Tennessee was winning the game. They was up 2 points with 1 second left, 1.4 seconds left. South Carolina was out of timeouts. They inbounded it from the side. Dawn Staley said in the huddle, she said, I knew with the players I had on the court that the only one that they was going to leave open
was Cardozo.
Because she's never made a three.
Right.
Never. She ain't made one. So she's like, I've dropped the play. She's like, I know she the one going to be open. So I had her pop up. And she was supposed to get the ball and pass it to somebody else. She said, but as they was walking out the huddle, I just said,
shoot that motherfucker.
Shoot that motherfucker. Right. What she said was, shoot that blankety blank. What she said was,
shoot that motherfucker.
Shoot that fucking bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Shoot that shit, shout.
Yeah.
Hey, when you got a coach that's rocking with you like that, G, you gonna be great,
bro. If you leave a huddle and your coach say, hey, shoot that fucking bitch.
You gonna be great, bro.
Like you. Okay.
So many coaches don't grasp that, brother.
No.
So many, though. They rob so many players of their abilities because of their own fear, or their own prisons, or, their schemes and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What coach, #1 team in the country, on the verge of being upset, tells a player who's never made a three,
let that bitch fly.
Shoot that bitch. I remember, completely different scale, but I had this kicker, this kid that we called Chief when I was coaching high school football. And Chief was super, humble, quiet kid, whatever. You had to rattle him to get him going a little bit. So every time I was just telling him, hey, you got one job, kick the shit out the ball, man. And so he don't talk. So every time he went out there to go and make a kick, I'd be like, Chief, what's your job? Kick the shit out the ball. And that's what he was just going to kick the shit out the ball. And when Dawn Staley said that, I'm like, man, she's so dope, dog. She's so dope, dog.
Dawn Staley the shit, man. Salute, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, cause of and it's just because of the celebrity of the moment or whatever. I fuck with Don Staley, but you gotta love what's going on with Angel Reese and Flage and all that shit. Now Juju is my favorite player right now, right? She gets buckets, G. She just gets buckets.
She's getting robbed a little bit just by that West Coast bias. They play so late. You know what I'm saying? She don't be on the prime time as much as Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese and them, but
and everybody talking about Caitlin Clark over there in Iowa, but Juju just broke her freshman record. So you start thinking about points, if Juju stayed a long time, Juju gonna knock that shit down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't know if it's still a rule or not, but women's they used to have to stay. They used to have to stay. They used to have to play 4 years. They wasn't no one and done shit.
I don't know the rule. I'd be lying.
I don't know what it is. To be honest with you, in terms of her eligibility to even leave, but I imagine she'll be there at least another year or two. But anyway, the next day, they go to the championship game, South Carolina does, against LSU. And they got it. I don't even know who won the game. I really don't. Who won?
South Carolina won.
South Carolina won?
Yeah.
Okay, I really didn't know who won the game. I only saw the fight. As P.I. said earlier, we was Sunday fun day. So I didn't really watch.
I say that like I watched the game. Let me look this shit up real quick.
Andre Howard said Davis said Notre Dame. I guess that's is that somebody on the men's side? Because I can't name none of them dudes. I can't name none of them college players. I don't know who Duke best player is. I don't know. Kentucky, Kansas. I don't know none of them dudes. But I do know these women. And I used to be of the mindset like I don't watch women's basketball because it's not as entertaining. It's just like it's not. But now it is.
But with
few exceptions. Like I mean, I used to love to watch, E.C. Hill and Cappy and Candace in high school. Like so, with some exceptions. But for the most part, I just never really found it that interesting, except for some of the UConn teams, some of the Tennessee teams with Shamika Holslaw and all that. And even when they first started the WNBA and the comments had, Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl Swoops and like that was different. But for the most part, I just never really found the game all that entertaining to watch comparison to the men's game.
Yeah, I think the women's game is always more fundamentally sound. But I think what we're watching here in real time is America's ability to create narratives. They're making them superstars, right? You think about who Caitlin is, where she's at. She's in Iowa, right?
It's Bird
White
Magic
girl
again.
It's Bird and Magic. No bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You in the middle of Iowa. You in New Orleans. Like
you can shoot. You breaking records on scoring over here in the middle of Iowa, right? I got a superhero white girl, and I got a think about the whole thing. Caitlin Clark is a real straight-laced white girl. Look damn near like Larry Bird. You know what I mean? She gotta look like Larry Legend over there. Caitlin Legend and shit. But then you got
Shorty can hoop too, dog.
Then you got the girl at LSU. I forget.
Angel Reese.
I'm sorry. But she got the eyelashes. She got the weave. She flashy.
She talk shit. Cash shit.
It's
too.
Magic and Bird, bro. It legitimately is.
It is.
You can sell it.
It is.
You know what I mean? And then you got the cast of characters come along. Juju get buckets. Juju would be the Isaiah or the Jordan of that story. Yeah. Like she ain't part of that shit. But now that the narrative's being shaped, you're paying attention to what else is happening around here.
And then you got Dawn Staley.
Then you got Dawn Staley.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
She's a main character in this story too.
We watching them shape a narrative. They can sell you anything when they want to, bro.
Yeah, man.
They can.
They got a girl on that team though. Malaysia Fulwiley, freshman.
Cold.
She can go, dog. Dawn teaching her how to play basketball. You know what I'm saying? So she still keep on.
She won MVP of the tournament. Yeah. First freshman to win it in like 8 years or ever, maybe. I don't know.
She could ball. I think she made it play like the first game of the season. I was like, who is that? In the open court, she like wrapped around somebody. Like it was something stupid she did. But yeah, it's interesting to see that how that's all playing out. And the women can hoop too, man. Like they can flat out hoop. Because I think Caitlin Clark gonna be a beast in the league too. Like Shorty can hoop.
What's crazy though, like Flage and Angel Reese get paid more now
than they will
in the league.
Caitlin too. Shit, they also want to stay.
I would assume so. I didn't know her numbers though. You know what I mean?
It's just the fact is I know the WNBA numbers in comparison to some of these NIL deals. You know what I mean? So like they should all want to stay. Shit.
Well, it's gonna change though, as that's gonna translate into their pro game. You know what I mean? Like again, they're shaping the narrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people gonna tune in to Caitlin Clark in the WNBA next year for sure. And Angel Reese too, and that's gonna always be a thing. But Angel Reese, I just love the way she talks shit, man. Like a week ago, they had a video of her. She on the free throw line, and
how many points you got?
The other woman started talking shit to her, and she said, "What? You can't be talking to me. Like, how many points? Shut the fuck up, like."
She got a reckless ass mouth.
She do. She be tough to date.
Early in the season, there was some shit going on with her and Flage. Did never reach the press, but it was a problem with them too, and they just never really spoke about what it is. But she do got a real reckless ass mouth.
Yeah, she pops off.
You know what I mean?
She pops off. So in the game, do you know why the fight started? I don't know why the fight started. I saw the
Flage picked up a foul in the open court,
right?
Which was a foul. It wasn't even outrageous. You know what I mean? Then I don't know who it was from South Carolina.
Bumped her.
Somebody from South Carolina walked, and Flage, she was like in her sight, path of sight, and Flage kind of pushed her. From one angle, it looked like she just pushed her, but from the other angle, it looked like she elbowed her too.
Right.
And then Cardozo came over there and whopped her real quick.
She
slammed her to the ground real quick.
Hey, she is a big woman, Joe. Stop playing with Shorty, Joe.
She is, but it was a scrappy game. Like it's a bunch of highlights, a bunch of clips.
Man.
Angel Reese and her was back and forth talking shit, throwing elbows. You know, it was that kind of game. Flage's brother jumped over the scores table. They locked his ass up.
Yeah, I
saw
that.
What I mean?
As soon as I saw it, he's going to jail.
That's too much, G. Yeah, you doing too much, G.
G, you get out your seat, jump over the scores table to go hop in this girl fight?
Yeah, you doing too much, bro.
Man, sit your ass down, bro.
Ass down. This is a high-level sports competition.
And I think Cordoza will beat his ass. He hopped over that motherfucker a solid 5'7".
But all that mouth Angel Reese ass got, there's a tape.
She was dipping?
Because when the fight happened, she was like leaned over. I think she sprained her ankle. But as soon as that fight happened, she turned the other way and sat down on the bench. Now, people was like, you know, my money is this, and I ain't going to fuck up my situation and all that. But with all that mouth,
you got to say.
And maybe it's because it's Flage. Because like I said, there's some shit going on with Flage in the first place. You know what I mean? You know how the women are too. Motherfucking superstars is hard to.
She didn't want to re-aggravate her ankle.
Yeah, whatever.
You know.
She showed moseyed her ass back to that bitch real smooth, like I want no smoke.
Yeah, it be the cats that pop off that don't really be wanting smoke like that.
Yeah, I don't want no. And you know, like the Cardoza girl, for one, I don't know where she from in Brazil, but it's just the favelas. What they call that shit? The favelas?
Yeah, no, they.
Yeah, sit your ass down, Angel Reese.
She about that.
She with that shit too. Please believe it.
You can tell people that's with that switch just flip on them. And it don't matter where we are. All that, you know, SEC championship game, that shit did not matter. She saw a girl push her sister. Woo, I will fuck all y'all up in here.
I'm with the bullshit. You know what I mean? Then afterwards, though, LSU coach was like, yeah, she would have tried that with Angel Reese. One, I thought that was reckless as fuck for a coach to say. I thought that was very fucking reckless for a coach to say. But I like it.
On a lot of levels.
But I like it. I ain't gonna lie. I like it. It was reckless as fuck, but I kind of like it.
What's that coach name again?
White chick. I can't remember her name. She was like, yeah, she did that to Flage, but she would have did that to Angel.
I hate the way she did.
And Angel sat her ass right down on that bitch like, I don't want no smoke.
I don't want no smoke.
You know, it is what it is, man. But nah, shout out to the women's game in general, though, man. It is. I do love the attention it's getting, and you're right. They are creating like genuine superstars. They already averaging more numbers than the NCAA tournament, the males NCAA tournament, right? Like it's interesting, right? As sport goes, Gilbert Arenas, I ain't gonna say he got in trouble, but the other day he said some shit on his podcast, and it was like, you know, the NBA is going down in ratings. This is happening. They coming up with all these new ideas to keep people interested in shit. The high color courts, the possibility of 4-point plays and new ways the All-Star game looks and all that shit. He said, man, you want to make the game better? He said, get rid of all the European players. And he meant it in the context. He's like, I can only think of two of them to play defense in the whole league. But you did that shit so we could run the numbers up, but that's not what makes the game interesting. You know what I mean? It's the shit that's happening over there with Flage and Angel and Cardoza that makes the game interesting. Yeah. And that's competitive and, you know, back and forth. That goddamn game score was 79 to 76. You know what I mean? Like it's different. NBA, the All-Star game was a damn near 200-point game. Fuck out of here, bro.
It was.
Yeah, fuck out of here.
The East scored 200.
Yeah, fuck out of here.
Just them.
Yeah, fuck out of here, bro.
You go back to the 90s, man. You talk about the Knicks and Heat rivalry. Like, that stuff was entertaining. That shit, you wanted to watch that. Was anybody going to score 130? Hell no, because one of these niggas will knock your head off before you score 130 in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going for none of that. But it was entertaining because Anthony Mason and Zoe might have a fight.
Shit out you, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it might go down like that. So, you know, that made it entertaining. That made for genuine rivalries. Ain't no rivalries in the league right now.
That's real.
You might see two good teams play each other. Oh, that's a good team. That's a good team. But rivalries? No. It was a thing when the Bulls played the Pistons. Like it was gonna be a thing every rip. And you know now you don't really have that. Everybody friends and let each other shoot threes. It's a trash game. We got some real stuff we gotta get into, man.
We gotta deal with politics a little bit, bro.
Let's get into the politics. Let's talk about the State of the Union.
So, and I'm only going. The State of the Union is quick. Right, I want to address a few things real quick. Right, they talked about the regulars, right, the shit you expect to hear about, taxing the wealthy. Yeah, right. You're not gonna do that. Right. Not in a real way. Not in a genuine way. Right. Talked about bringing back abortion rights in the states that went against the abortion rights, and then there was conversations around college tuition payments and the regular shit, right? So whatever happened in the State of the Union before that, same conversation,
right?
but there was an applause from a certain community because Biden was kind of like, one, he played into his age, like I'm 80 something, and at this age I've learned certain things, and had a little vigor to him. He didn't look like Uncle Joe who don't know where the fuck he is most times, right?
A little better in his
right. He only made about 5 or 6 mistakes in the speech, you know what I mean, as to losing the sight of the totality of the conversation. Right. You know what I mean? It's obvious that motherfucker don't know where he is most of the time. But like I was saying earlier, man, I think just what's interesting about it is that here we are kind of recycling these conversations from 20 years past. Mm-hmm. And
how old is he for real?
I think he's 86. It's either
really?
Don't quote me. It's 86 or 82. It's one of them numbers that's sticking out to me for some reason.
I gotta look at it.
It's 80 some shit. I can't remember specifically, right? But we just in the midst of a change in time, right? You know what I mean? I was telling you the last time we was here, man. I saw a report from a Asian guy that's heavy in the digital and tech space. He was like, man, we got about 10 years, and in 10 years, 40% of the
81.
Yeah, that's that Hollywood age shit. He probably 97. But he definitely his mind is 162.
Oh, he's up there.
Really, his mind might just be 81. Maybe that's what happens at 81.
Maybe that's
right.
81-year-old mind.
But if that's the case, then you don't need to be in power.
Right.
Right. And I know that sounds like ageism or whatever the fuck. But I went to I was at a conversation at Operation Push the other day, and they were just having a dialogue around a lot of different shit. And some of the responses they was coming with, it was questions going around like, when can we get leaflets out? Think about that in context. Like, when last time you heard a motherfucker say, let's put out some leaflets? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Who the fuck are you talking to where leaflets is going to get their attention?
Right.
Only other motherfuckers is 86 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. And it's like, damn, man, I'm sitting here and it's younger people than me in the room. And I'm like, damn, if I'm looking at this shit like.
They got to be like.
What the fuck?
Right.
Right? And it's like, how do we bridge that gap? One, and not only how do we bridge that gap, but are they really that disconnected? You the president of the United States of fucking America, right? And not no bullshit, you Jesse motherfucking Jackson. You know what I mean? There's a slew of people that's going clamor for your attention that knows the answer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why can't we utilize those people? And is your stranglehold on power that tough or that rigid that you're not opening those doors for those people, right? In regards to like Biden know to say shit like, and I'm not saying he was saying get leaflets or whatever. Mm-hmm. It just was it's an antiquated conversation, right? And we're moving in a space that there's no allowance for that.
I think that it's interesting just to see the state of affairs, right, of just where we are. The fact the president of the United States walked into the State of the Union and you had the rep, I don't know where she was from, but she's in there with her MAGA hat on, is nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like what we on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's another level of just like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like when dude called President Obama a liar during his, like, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? But shit, for her to come in there gangbanging like that was fucking crazy in his face too. Like, I just think that all of these things, like you said, be more the same. And Sheree made a good point about whether they tax them or not. So many loopholes, and the wealthy will find a way around it.
She's talking about putting a vineyard on your land
and making
avoid
$10. Yeah.
Right? Our governor, he had a couple some properties on the Gold Coast. He took the toilets out.
Right.
Right.
Not inhabitable.
Yeah, I wish I'd have known that shit.
Right.
Because I had some problems with some properties. I would have took the fucking toilets out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just ignorance of the law. You know what I mean? Trump said the most debilitating shit when he was running for president against Hillary Clinton. Right? They asked him had he been cheating on his taxes, and he said, "I know the tax codes."
Yeah.
Right? And he said, and you can be mad at that, but I dare Hillary to say something because her donors do the same shit. And that's the truth, right? Power is power. Right? It doesn't concede to nothing but demand.
Right. That's it.
And at the end of the day, and that's what I mean by the conversation they're having in that State of the Union, like, what are we demanding? You know what I mean? In this space and place, in this time of new technology, in this place a time where, like, we really need to have to consider socialism as a real level, because if in 10 years, 40% of the world job market is going to dissipate, either we're going to have riots in the street, or you better be writing universal basic income checks. There's no other way around that shit, at least in my logical mind.
I mean, it's always been that saying, like, eventually the poor ain't gonna have nothing left to eat except the wealthy. And then they're gonna come down the street with the pitchforks and shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's just real, but you keep just widening that gap. I was having that conversation with a reporter when I was leaving from Howard's Hall today after a press conference, talking about, Jalen Johnson's new contract. And he was like, it's crazy just how the gap just keep widening between us and them. And he was talking about like Shohei Ohtani signing his $700 million contract for the Dodgers. He was like, I remember when A-Rod signed his $250 million contract. We was like, that's super crazy. Now Cats is signing $250 million contracts like it's nothing. You know what I mean? And he signed a $700 million contract. And it's like, that gap just keeps widening. He was like, I could be the greatest writer ever. I'm never going to make $700 million. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, you're not. I don't know what you'd have to write to do that. The Bible, I guess. Shit.
That leads into the other conversation I want to have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to jump there that fast, though, right? Also, Michigan had its primary, right? And they had a ballot initiative called Uncommitted, where the Arab community decided, like, hey, man, because of the way you treating this shit with Gaza, we not committing to you as the president. Now, mind you, he won the primary. Biden still run the primary, right? But in Dearborn, Michigan, President Joe Biden's reactions to campaign faces an arduous task, uniting his party after Michigan Democrats waged a massive protest vote over his support of Israel's military campaign against Hamas in Gaza. Mm-hmm. With 95% of the votes counted, Biden won Tuesday's primary with 81%, but 13% or more than 100,000 people cast uncommitted ballots. Now, there's a reason why I thought this shit was very interesting. They had a projection of only reaching about 10,000 people, but they reached 100,000 people, right? This is why this is a news story. Mm-hmm. And I thought about this shit in the context of the shit I was saying for the last presidential election.
I mean, he only won the election by 11,000 votes.
Now, hear what I'm saying,
I'm just saying, that's a huge number is what I'm saying.
Remember last time during the last presidential election, I was saying, man, we need to vote down ballot. Mm-hmm. You do not have to choose this motherfucker. You don't have to choose no motherfucker. There's a risk. You're going to lose.
It sends a message, though.
But it sends a message, though. This shit is national news now with just reaching 100,000 people with 13% of the vote in Michigan.
Yeah.
We ain't with your bullshit, right? In the primary, we ain't with your bullshit. I just thought it was interesting, like, how effective that strategy really is, and people were so anti it as a construct. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, people don't be with radical shit until they see it done. And it's like, well, that's not very radical. You know what I mean? You was 100% correct. I mean, you was screaming that from the mountaintops then, banging the drum on that, and I was in total agreement with you. Like, first of all, I don't really give a fuck about the system anyway. It could crash to the fucking bottom of the sea as far as I give a fuck. So I'm perfectly fine with Trump or whoever tearing that shit to pieces. But when your point about sending a message, that seemed really logical and viable to me. To be like, hey man, y'all need us. Like, what we getting out of this? And sometimes you gotta send that motherfucking message like, hey, stop playing, Joe. Stop playing, for real.
Yeah, I just thought that was real interesting, man.
Nah, that is interesting to see. 100,000 people got on board. If we could have sent that message 100,000, maybe times 10, if we could have got 1 million people on board with that shit, it would have been like, well, look at that.
You was at Hollis Hall this morning doing the press conference with who again?
Jalen Johnson, the Bears all-pro cornerback.
I'm glad you said Jalen.
He started a new deal. Yeah, he signed a new deal.
I wasn't thinking we got to address the girl who had his pregnant by the boy, Jalen Green.
Jalen Green. Oh, yeah, what's her name?
Drea. Jalen Green and her son are the same age.
Yeah.
That's wild as hell.
It's very wild. I mean, it's a little hypocritical for me. I'm not all that, opposed to age differences in relationships, but this is something different when you talk about, 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about me being 37 and, having older partners, like whatever, you know what I mean? But
that's wild as hell, Ron? Man. 39.
She 39? And he like 22?
Her son's 21.
Yeah, that's nuts. he's also cold. Did you see him dunk on dude this weekend?
No. He's probably stressed. You try to jump out to the motherfucking out of space.
I'm making a point though. Like he's cold, and the point I'm making is he's gonna be a max player.
Yeah, he's gonna be a max player.
So when he signs his extension like Jalen Johnson did, it's going to be.
Yeah, she hit the lotto, bro. And I know people talking about she got her own bag. She ain't got that bag.
No,
right?
No.
But that's kind of how this transactional society works. I just think it's interesting.
He's gonna be a $300 million type extension, and my partner said she was like, she hit the lotto. I wanted to side eye for a minute, like she hit the lotto, like, but for real though, you know what I'm saying?
She really hit the lotto, bro.
And she in that telling that young boy, no, don't pull out. No, don't pull out.
Don't pull in.
Go ahead. Leave it in there.
Mr. Leave it in.
Mr. Leave it in. Leave it in conditioner.
Yeah, he needs his team needs to be better. Where's his father?
Where's his father?
That shit sounded crazy to me, man.
Where's your daddy?
But that's, granted, I know it might be hypocritical because I know, on the other side of the coin, a lot of people move like that. We finna jump into the Puffy conversation, and half of the conversation is about his movement with underage girls and stuff like that. I don't know though, man. Maybe I just got a different expectation for women, and maybe that's foul to me. You know what I mean? But there's an expectation that I have to uphold some level of moral code or, now value. I don't know and maybe I'm foul for thinking that, but that shit's foul, G. I couldn't imagine Bella being 21 years old and me bringing a woman home that's 21 years old.
Right.
Like I would be embarrassed by that shit. You know what I mean?
That's nuts.
That's crazy, bro.
That's absolutely nuts. You say like where is his father? But his father is probably a huge Drea fan too. Yeah, son. I don't know, man. You need that kind of guy. Jalen Johnson, his whole family was at the press conference today. His father was in that. He was, giving his father a lot of credit for his success in his path. He was like, my father used to be motivating me forever. My father would be like, when I was like playing as a kid, my father would be like, hey, that receiver over there says you ain't shit. And I'd be like, what? I'm gonna like this. Like, that Pop, did he really say that shit? Yeah, like, I think he said it.
I think he said it.
he was like, part of me still think that way. Part of me still take the field on Sunday like, this nigga don't think I can guard him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, you just need that kind of structure, that kind of guidance, you know what I mean? And I don't know what Jalen Green's, parental situation. I don't know, but somebody has to frown upon this 40-year-old and his 20-year-old self, especially now that she's positioned herself to probably end up with having his $300 million.
Yeah, that's some wild shit, man. But it is what it is, man.
Who starts over you got a 21-year-old and you get pregnant? Never mind who it is. You got a 21-year-old and get pregnant?
See, but we looking at it from the standpoint of like bringing a new life to the world. She made an investment in a new business strategy.
Oh, I know. She calls that baby Cha-ching.
Ring it up.
I already know. She ain't gonna have nothing to do with that baby.
That baby name is Cha-ching.
That's it.
Cha-ching Green.
Cha-ching Green. That's their baby name.
Cha-ching Green.
The baby room just gonna be little dollar signs on the wall. That's it. Like,
Cha-ching Green is fucking hilarious, G. Oh shit.
Oh my God. Man.
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Oh man. So look. Shout out to Sharia again, man. She sent us this fucking document of the Puffy Combs case, and it is wild business, G. Puffy has no limitations. It's nothing Puffy can't do, G. Puffy does it all. He has, what'd you say? Anybody that comes to the house, fuck him.
Fuck him. You come through that door?
Fuck him. That's Puffy's new name. Fuck him. He has no limitations, bro.
None.
Now, this is all speculation because I don't know if it's true, if he's guilty or not.
Hey, Mr.
But
Jones
the shit the little Rod Jones is talking about in this goddamn subpoena is crazy, man.
So the part that you read that made me say anybody come through the house, fuck him, was when Mr. Jones was like, I was in the bathroom and Young Miami's cousin busted and I think Diddy said that and to molest me.
Yeah. While they do cocaine. And the other one was with Blueberry too. He's like, I'm a huge fan of Stevie J, so he would show me tapes of Stevie J having sex with a man. He was like, even Stevie J did it. This is part of your initiation, basically.
Hey.
Right? So we laugh at all that shit.
The fact that wasn't redacted is wild too.
So
the Stevie J part.
The Stevie J part was wild as hell.
He quoted Diddy and referenced some other. This rapper do it. This R&B singer.
It was some redacted shit. Yeah, it was a redacted shit.
Stevie J.
But they said Stevie J specifically
performing anal sex on some white dude.
Some white man. They did say that.
Yeah.
They redacted the white man. They don't know who he is. Stevie J. We know who Stevie J is. Look, and that's all. I don't want to say it's funny because it's not funny. If you was getting groped and man raped, I feel bad for you. You know what I mean? You're right. I don't feel bad for you. Man the fuck up. Don't sell your booty hole for whatever check he was promising your ass.
That's my thing, man.
That's on you.
This man went through, I don't know exactly the timeline, but it seemed like.
He lived with Puff in Miami. He lived with Puff in L.A. You was negotiating your booty hole if he was taking your booty hole, bro. Because you could have at any point said, I'm going back to Chicago. And I hate that he's from Chicago. That's so disrespectful. Lil Rod, you are no longer part. You're not from the crib. You got to get the fuck on, Lil Rod. Pause, Lil Rod. Y'all can't even say Lil Rod. That's so disrespectful.
After the first attempt at your booty, how do you keep traveling the world with this man?
Man, that man fired and Puff was like, "What's your size?" Like he was with all of the fuck shit.
Come on, man.
Oh God,
it's like nothing is on the table with Diddy, Joe.
But Lil Rod got this case, and at first when it came out, and I didn't even read it at first, but I'm hearing the reports from everybody else like, all right, he's jumping on the bandwagon, jumping on the wave to catch a check because Cassie caught a check, and maybe there are a lot of people out here catching checks, right? Even in regards to like the Bill Cosby case, right? Sure. Like I didn't never read the document, so I don't know how far that shit goes. But even in this shit, I don't know what's true, what's not true. I don't know. Right, but it brought up another thought, and what brought the thought was Cube released a little videotape this past week about the gatekeepers in Hollywood and how he's not really invited to those parties, and when he wrote the letter, I can't remember the name of the title, but the letter to Black America or whatever it was during the last presidential, he's like, I really stopped getting invited. I also started getting fucked with in regards to my business ventures, right? Everything I was doing was like, nah, we pulling this. We pulling, like he was getting threatened everywhere.
The Big Three, his production company.
Right. He was like, I started getting a lot of threats because I was playing in politics or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And then I thought about it from the other vantage point, right? When you think about the biggest campaign for civic engagement in regards to hip hop, it was Vote or Die.
Yeah.
And Puffy was the pinnacle of that campaign, right? He was the face of that campaign. So I thought about it and I said, man, as wild as all this shit sounds, right? As wild as all this shit sounds, what if this shit is ceremonial?
What if it's the cost of admission?
What if it's the cost for the ticket to the party? Right? And it sounds crazy, but when you think about Jeffrey Epstein, right? When you think about even the Puff shit, like his name's in here of powerful white folks.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? When you think about the Epstein Island, it was a gang of political, powerful people on that fucking island. What's your purpose of going to that island other than sleep with 16-year-old girls?
That's why them flight logs is...
They crazy.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you be there, bro? Right? And maybe this is the cost of admission, like on some real shit. Like, you always hear these kind of mythical stories of what it takes to make it. Yeah. You sign your name to the Illuminati and not... Right. Even the Jay-Z conversation, right? The Beyonce conversation. Like, Jay, 75 years old too, and Beyonce, 25. You know what I'm saying? Like, that math is not mathing over there either. You know what I'm saying? And there's other conversations, like Foxy Brown say, he was picking me up from high school, knocking me down. And he was 37 then. You know what I'm saying? Or 42. It was like, the gap is retarded. You know what I'm saying? There's also, there's a, shit, Aaliyah. We ain't got to go that much further. Like, she was not an older woman. No, she had just bypassed R. Kelly ass, and she was 15 when R. Kelly went in. Yeah. Like, everybody demonizes R. Kelly, and he deserves to be demonized.
Yeah.
But it looks like this shit is like
commonplace,
ceremonial.
So, I think that like when you proposed that, and we were talking about it before the cameras came on, I'm like, yeah, I could see that. You know what I mean? And I could see a lot of people being willing to pay that price. Not me. That's fucking nuts. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't need to be rich in Hollywood that bad. Like, I'm straight. And so I just think that's crazy. But I think that it's very, very real and a possibility. But I think that also, even if it's just not about the act itself, right? If I can get you to do that, like, you know what I'm saying? I got you for whatever I want to get you for. You know what I'm saying? For the rest of the time. Like, oh, how bad you want it? You'll let me do what to you? Then I know what you will let me. I know you'll let me do anything else going forward. Like, so I think I certainly don't think it's implausible that's the price of admission.
It's not.
No.
Right, but I want us to think about it from the standpoint of, like, what does that look like in regards to, like, their following? What does that look like in regards to, like, their visibility? What does that look like in regards to, like, the impact that they have on
their
culture?
Messaging, all that,
right?
Yeah.
So I told you I was at Push the other day, and I was talking to Mama Jackson, and she was talking about how James Baldwin would come to town, and he would stop by Push or stop by Jesse's house or stop by wherever the people were congregating. Mm-hmm. And James Baldwin at the time was kind of heralded as, shit, James Baldwin.
James Baldwin. Right?
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And he was only stopping by in path to wherever he was supposed to be going, right? Because it was valuable for James Baldwin to make an impact on the people that he cared the most about, right? She was like, Jay-Z and Beyonce wouldn't do that today. And I was like, kind of offended that you can compare James Baldwin to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Right.
But contextually, there's a real comparison there, right? James Baldwin of yesteryear is Jay-Z of today in regards to, like, impact on the minds and thoughts of the cultural behaviors of black people, right? And this was a real conversation between me and Ms. Mama Jackson, but Puffy, Jay-Z, we can keep going down the line, right? They keep throwing these celebrities in our face to kind of dictate our thought, right? We know that black people are the greatest consumers of media and entertainment, and they do dictate our beliefs. It does, right? You can see the shorties out here wearing jeans just cutting off their circulation because that's what the cool shit was. Half the little girls and boys out here today look like, when I drop Bella off at Kenwood, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on here? Right? Everybody dressed like, from my vantage point, like a white rocker. You know what I mean? Like the shoes that my daughter would want for her birthday is like, what? Like, it's so far off the beaten path or so far off the radar, it's like it don't even make sense. Like, this couldn't have came down this tree. It's a whole new tree. Right? And that impact has power, right? And if these people are corrupted, or if these people have been put in these compromised situations where you cannot be honest, right? But you're leading the conversation for the masses and directing them down certain pathways, and you do have power, and you do have access, and the whole shit that Lil Rod is talking about is, man, this nigga is uber powerful. Yeah, it sounds crazy that I was out here getting free world man rape, but I'm scared of this motherfucker. I've seen him shoot a motherfucker, and it mean nothing.
That's the point that Cherie just made. She said Terry Crews confirmed that Hollyweird has audacity. The exec groped him and expected him to get moist. Terry Crews is huge. Who does that?
How would Terry Crews get moist?
You're so stupid.
I'm getting concerned right now.
People who know they can with no reprisal. Like that level of power. But again, I don't want to be in your movie that bad. But if you do, it's what it goes.
Yeah, I don't want to be in your movie that bad. But there's always somebody who does. Right? Now, on the back end of this person who does, if you want to compromise your booty hole, you compromise your booty hole.
Go ahead.
But part of the ceremonial cost of admission is, although you got to compromise your booty hole, I need your image and likeness to dictate the philosophies and thoughts of an entire community.
So, like, what's the word I want to say? I can't think of the word I want to say, but basically, you are then bringing these other people along with you. You know what I mean?
Right. You selling a whole population's booty hole.
Right. Right. Right.
You took mine literally, but I'm going to give you theirs figuratively.
For real.
For real.
Cherie also said, can you scroll up a little bit to that comment just above Q's? That one right there. She said, I just don't understand the need to force folks to be your kind of freaky. Just find your tribe and be happy. Make everybody sign NDAs. I'm talking about DNR, like somebody died. Anyway, for real though, whatever kind of freaky you is, there's some other people that's that kind of freaky, G. Go get them. But I think the power thing comes into it.
It ain't about freaky though.
Rape ain't never about freaky.
It ain't about freaky at all.
Power.
It's about power.
Right.
I need to control you, to control them, to control the situation.
I like it better that you don't like this.
It's too much. I get it. But even, again, it's not even about the freaky, right?
It's not like they going to gay clubs and bringing gay dudes home. You know what I'm saying? They can do that.
It's Dwight Howard jumping out the closet like, hey, BN homie taking this now.
It's us.
Yeah, it's forceful, right? But again, the image of it all, right?
Dwight Howard is huge.
There, at least in high profile or high power politics, there used to be a saying that says, don't get caught with a dead girl or a live boy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A dead girl could ruin you, a live boy could ruin you. Mm-hmm. Right? So when you think about these Jeffrey Epsteins, the Puffies and all that shit, think about the conversation. Like specifically in this era, in this moment in time, where there's a different view of homosexuality specifically, right? Ain't nobody really tripping over that for real. Right? So now you got to add in the 15-year-old girls, it got to be underage, it got to be wild, it got to be, I took it.
Even in this salacious time, we have to find something
salacious.
We got
to find something salacious, right? To have this on your jacket, so if you ever step out of line, we can get you back in line, right? But we need you in line. Not that we need your creativity, not that we need your music, not that we need your acting, not that we need your showmanship or your entertainment. We need you in line. Now, being in line forces you to be in line. What does that all entail? I don't know.
It entails whatever I call you and say it entails today.
Whatever I say it entails, right? But Cap get out there and say, fuck these motherfucking NFL people, and the people start riding with that shit. Hey, Jay, come here. Fix this, right? Mm-hmm. Black people start thinking about voting in a different way. Hey, Diddy, come here. Fix this, right? And it works, all the time. Yeah. But my question would be, like, as a people, when we start to see these kind of things, right, that kind of besmirches their moral standard, right? And I know how we respond to a lot of shit. Like when Bill Cosby was charged with rape, the vast majority of people was like, man, you raped X amount of white women in 1970. Man, get the fuck out. Because our minds would traditionally say, a black man in that moment in time would be under a fucking jail.
Right.
But then you think about Bill Cosby in regards to like his visual projection.
Who he was in the 70s.
Who he was, right? But specifically, just because we was talking about, I can't think of the other comedian's name, just from Chicago.
Richard Pryor?
No.
He ain't from Chicago, but Peoria.
No, I know he's from Peoria. Richard Pryor's, not Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby's like counterpart. Bill Cosby used to look up to this brother, I can't think of his name. Damn. I always Dick Gregory, right? Mm-hmm. So during that moment in time, like before before Bill Cosby was Bill Cosby, Dick Gregory was Bill Cosby. In regards to like celebrity and popularity. Right? Dick Gregory got called to be a part of that movement, that civil rights movement, and he started telling different kind of jokes and started being heralded in a different kind of way, right? Like he kind of shunned the money to be the person he needed to be for the people, right? Yeah. And in that, they left a lane for Bill Cosby, right? And Bill Cosby ran through the lane. Dick Gregory used to shit on Bill Cosby like, man, you this, that, and the third. And all the way up into the 80s or the 90s when he was coming out with the pound cake speech and what's wrong with you niggas and yada, yada, yada. But because you maybe walked that path, maybe they gave you leeway to run through all these white women with your, Spanish fly. And when we wanted to pull your motherfucking coat back,
we got this button to push whenever
we want to push it.
That's how it works. That makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, you give people the leeway to do all this kind of shit. I mean, look, man. Even when you talk about R. Kelly, right? And I know that we live in this cancel culture now where anybody outside of Chicago don't want to play his music. Cool, no problem. But again, choosing when to push this button when you had this, what the fucking tape was out 20 years before any of this other shit. We all saw the fucking tape. Hell, you sold 1,000 of them bitches.
Who? You who? Don't put my name in that bullshit. Do not put my name in that bullshit. I heard about it. Allegedly, I heard about somebody who did that, but don't put my name in that bullshit. Said I'm trafficking porn to underage people. Fuck out of here. Allegedly.
But nah, my point is, we got this button to push whenever we choose to. And so if Diddy been doing this, then he's been doing this since 95. This 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And now we push the button. For whatever reason. Who knows what he didn't go along with? Who knows what call he got in life? Like, no, I'm not doing that. That's too far. It's too what?
Yeah, that's why
hit the button on Diddy.
I also wanted to add this too, right? There was a brother that's mentioned in the Diddy court case named Fahim Muhammad, right? And Fahim Muhammad was like their security guy. Yeah. When you get in any trouble, call Fahim. Fahim got you.
Before you call the police?
Before you call the police, call Fahim. So the shooting between Puffy and Justin and the other dude, Fahim was on the scene, shit goes away, right?
The fixer.
The fixer, right. Little research on Fahim, man. Fahim was also Michael Jackson's head of security when Michael Jackson died.
That's wild.
Right?
That's wild.
But what's more interesting about that, Fahim graduated college in 2008 with a business and real estate degree. And then Michael Jackson died in 2009. To become the head of Michael Jackson's security 1 year post-graduation with no education in armed security.
You would have had to.
You were doing business and real estate.
Coming from CIA, so like, you had to been like.
This is Michael, the king of fucking pop. Imagine how big Michael. Like, how do you become the head of Michael Jackson security 1 year post college
with no security background?
No security background.
Free
the
world
math
man, right?
Don't be mathing, bro.
Free world man, right?
The Illuminati is real. You know what I'm saying? There's obviously some secret society around this motherfucker that is legitimately handpicking our celebrities and dictating how they will live and die.
There's definitely a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't even really want to know about. Like, there's a level of society tucked behind the curtain that I don't even really want to be privy to on a lot of levels. Like, what? Because I am a proud conspiracy theorist. I'm not, like, I don't even know why there's a negative connotation to conspiracy theorists. Like, I have a theory that they conspire to do shit. You don't believe that? Like, what about the history of this government leads you to believe they wouldn't conspire to do some wild shit on whatever level?
They say when values are aligned, there's no need to have a meeting.
We ain't got to talk about it.
We ain't got to talk about it, right? So if I know this community wants to be celebrities, if I know this community wants X amount of dollars, and I know I hold the keys to that access, I got to meet with you. Ain't got to be no plan. Yeah. I dangle the keys in your fucking face, tell you what you got to do, you do it.
That's it.
That's it.
I remember on The Wire when Marlo was about to kill Bodie's friend, the fat dude, little Kevin.
Little whatever.
And all they did, they brought little Kevin over there.
Bodie was pissed they killed little Kevin. That's what sent Bodie over the.
That's what got Bodie killed.
That's what got Bodie killed.
Yeah, he flew off the edge.
Bodie could never come back from them killing little Kevin.
He was done. He's standing in the middle of the hood like, fuck Marlo. Pooh like, hey, you better calm down, like, nigga.
Nah, Bodie was a gangster. Bodie was a real soldier.
Yeah, Bodie was with the shit, but Bodie had too much pride. Bodie was a little too gangster.
I fuck with Bodie though.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right? Because this is really the same conversation we having around Puffy and Jay and all them other motherfuckers. At some point, you got to be willing to land on your sword. You got to have enough moral capacity to say, no, man, this shit is fucked up.
And then you leave.
No.
Bodie said this is fucked up.
Because if you leave,
and it's my corner.
If you leave, you just leave the door open for the next motherfucker to fall in line with Marlo.
Somebody gonna do it anyway.
And it's just until the power is compromised. That's what I mean, right? Power does not change without demand.
But Bodie wasn't gonna kill Marlo. He was about to snitch on him.
Whatever way you got to do it.
But
you
that's
gotta
what got him killed.
But you got to be, again, what did Bodie had that Marlo doesn't have? He doesn't have the power that Marlo has. Right. So now he has to use different mechanisms to get Marlo out the way. It's really the same conversation on the street level that we having at this high level.
No, for real.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the greatest show ever. That's kind of why Bodie was kind of the character that you could appreciate.
Love Bodie.
You love Bodie. Most motherfuckers didn't like Stringer.
Right.
playing both sides of the motherfucking field, right? He gonna do dirty shit to his team and the other team so he can progress, right? Avon come home and say, man, I'm just a gangster, I suppose. No, I'm with this team. I've decided. You know what I mean? And because I've decided, this is the rules that this team plays by, right? And when we switch up the motherfucking game, or when we allow shit to go one way or the other way, and there's no real rules established, you get a motherfucking stringer.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You get a motherfucking Prop Joe, right? And I'm not even, but even Prop Joe was honest about the liar that he was.
His name's fucking Prop Joe.
I can fuck with that. I know you full of shit. I got to choose from your full of shitness. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Proposition.
Yeah.
Like, I can give you a proposition, and you can choose. But what I'm saying about, like, Bodie was, if you wasn't going to kill Marlo, you need to leave. Fuck trying to snitch on him. Because like you said, Lil Kevin getting killed, got Bodie killed. They saw him pull Lil Kevin out of the building. He kick out the window of the police car. They lock his dumb ass up. McNulty go get him. What's his name? See him talking to McNulty at the police station. Bodie dead the next day.
It's a wrap. I get it, right? And I know laws of the street, no snitching and all that shit, but I'm talking, again, we juxtaposing the conversation.
Yeah, I ain't tripping because I'm much more aligned with Bodie than Marlo. Marlo was a nigga with no code, no honor, didn't give a fuck about nobody. He killed innocent women going to work. He killed innocent niggas at the grocery store. Like, cool. Marlo was just a wild ass nigga. So I'm 100% with Bodie, but I'm saying if you make a decision like that, you can't be no half measures. You know what I'm saying? You got to go all in on this shit because you know this nigga will kill you. You know what I'm saying?
And he went all in the way that he knew how. Right? And I think that's a real, a great example of the black community at large. Right? We do have those of us who gonna go all in. Ice Cube is a great example.
Yeah.
The video that Ice Cube put out was, hey man, they fucking with me. And they fucking with me because in my mind, I was trying to stand up for y'all. And I remember when Ice Cube came out with his message to the black community. The black community was like, man, who the fuck you think you are?
Right.
Why they ain't say who the fuck you think you are? The Puffy said vote or die.
Right.
Because see, Cube challenged the entirety of the system. With all the flaws in that conversation, there was a lot of flaws. He's a fucking rapper. He's not a fucking politician.
Right.
Right? You could expect flaws.
Who the fuck wants to hear from Ja Rule at a moment like this?
Who the fuck wants to hear from Ja Rule at a moment like this? What would Ja Rule got to say? Right? But to that point, though, here's Cube challenging the system.
Right.
Right? And because he's challenging the system, everybody's like, niggas included. And get your ass the fuck on.
Right.
Puff come out here and say, we rocking with this white man. Everybody with him.
100%.
Motherfucking vote or die t-shirts became fashionable.
Yeah.
Niggas was like, I gotta get a vote or die t-shirt.
Niggas that don't vote.
Niggas that don't vote. Real shit. The shit became cool.
It was.
Right?
It was.
Come ride with me and this devil. Cube saying, fuck all these devils.
Right.
This what this is. This transactional, motherfucker. You need me, I need you. Pay it like you owe it.
Right.
Pay it like you weigh.
Right.
And niggas themselves was like,
Nah, because motherfuckers love their masters at the end of the day.
So when you in that kind of position, nigga, you gotta go to, in a lot of ways, you gotta go the Bodie route. Can I get a motherfucker on my side who thinks that Marlo is worse than the shit I'm talking about?
But he couldn't.
Who got a big enough army?
But he couldn't, because he had Slim Charles. Slim Charles was as gangster a nigga as there was in the show. Slim Charles ain't scared of shit, but he understood.
He's scared of Marlo.
He wasn't scared of Marlo. Slim wasn't scared of nobody. He just like, it is what it is. Slim just played the game. Slim was a Barksdale nigga. Avon got locked up. Slim wearing with fucking Prop Joe.
The work over here.
Yeah, like whatever. I just play the game. You know what I'm saying? And Bodie was like, man, this is the old days. And Slim Charles looked at him and said, see, the thing about the old days is.
They the old days.
They the old days. He said, say you want to bump with Marlo. You on your own, fam. You talking about the whole West Side, G. Against Bodie.
But here's another example
But you figure
where Slim Charles fits into the paradigm of what Black America is.
If I can get the police as a partner, though, now I might be big enough to fight this fight. But you didn't do it slick enough.
But even Slim Charles, like you said, it is what it is. That's the contentment that most black America has. It is what it is, and we're going to keep getting fucked.
Right.
So even if Slim Charles plays the role, eventually Marlo going to get tired of your ass too.
Yeah.
Because he was a parasite. That's just what it is. Parasites don't stop eating until they fucking die.
Marlo's going to eat everything around.
Gonna eat everything till they die, right? You put a motherfucking catfish in a pond, eventually the catfish is going to eat itself to death after it's ate everything in that motherfucker.
Even his closest partner, Chris. They in that motherfucking holding cell, and he found out Chris ain't been telling him what's word on the streets. Who the fuck is you? Like, what the fuck you know about what's on my mind, motherfucker? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Marlon don't give a fuck about nobody at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? He'll use motherfuckers until they not useful no more, and then he gonna come and prop Joe crib and shoot him in the back of his motherfucking head.
The question says, where does Ye stand now? It seems like he's becoming the man now, the new Godfather. Like, Ye who? Kanye?
Yeah.
Nah, fuck out of here. Kanye's an outsider, man, and Kanye is seen as that, right? No, he's not even part of that I ain't gonna say he ain't part of that conversation, but he's not part of that conversation in a trustworthy way, right? Like Jay's uncontrollable. He's too bipolar. He's too unstable, and I don't think they got Ye engaged compromising situations with little girls. He do a lot of wild shit, but he in Chicago. He doing little girls and homosexual shit. Right? And whatever his crazy is so front row, it's nothing that would alarm you about. Yeah, do that. You would almost expect Ye to do that shit. So when you what's the Eminem shit in the Vado in the movie? I always talk about being white, so you can't use it against me.
Yeah.
His crazy is on Front Street. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really throw crazy at him. You can't throw crazy at him. You know what I'm saying?
Garcia's a good point. Did Puffy steal the educator die? I mean, the voter die from Philip Jackson's educator die? It's very, very close, man. Slim Charles chooses his role and played it well. That's why he turned down Marlo's gift of replacing Prop Joe. Yeah, I mean, Slim.
Because he know he got killed.
Slim wasn't with none of the shit, man. Slim just played the game for his motherfucking self.
Parasite is a parasite.
Stayed alive doing that shit, man.
A parasite is a parasite, man. And at the end of the day, man,
was on Marlo regardless.
Capitalism is a parasite.
Yeah.
It just is. It doesn't fucking stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, there's been arguments that the white man himself is a parasite. You know what I mean? It just doesn't fucking stop. And until you challenge that power paradigm, you get what you get. You get an 82-year-old motherfucker with dementia, and then you get another, however old, 80 or 77 or whatever the fuck he is, who's just ego whore.
Right.
You know what I mean? And ignorant. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you get the responses from the people who fall in line with the bullshit because they're ignorant too, right? The motherfuckers that Trump kind of engages is just the black version of white folks. They've been left out the fray of capitalism, and anything looks like an opportunity. You know what I mean? And them motherfuckers is more dangerous than black folks because unlike Slim Charles, they don't rock with it is what it is. Because of the parasitic nature of their brains is which makes them go after the White House on January 6th. We can change this shit because whiteness still has value.
Yeah.
Right? And I said this shit when January 6th happens. Like, I ain't gonna say mad January 6th. Right?
I respect the gumption.
It is what it is.
I respect the gumption.
I respect the gumption, G.
We running up in this bitch.
Hey, you ain't fucking with me the right way? I'm running up in this bitch.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
We got to slide, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to this live edition of Urban 2 on this here Monday afternoon. We'll be back later in the week for Relationship Friday. And, of course, the Patreon episode for all of you official dirtbags. If you have not become an official dirtbag, strongly urge you to do so. Go to patreon.com/Urban2. Get exclusive content and a exclusive weekly episode of the Herb and 2 show.
Also, always check out the website, herb2.com. We got exclusive merch on the site. The merch sells fast, so, you know, get it while you can. So I just put some new joints on there the last 2 days. I think it was 2 days ago. I put like 3 new pieces on the site.
Well, let's take everything else down then.
We switching it out. It's gonna switch out. It's gonna switch out. So once a product isn't available anymore, it's just not available anymore.
It's not gonna be available no more, man. We leave shit up there so long, then y'all be like, I'll get it later. We're gonna start leaving shit up there for 1 week. Get it or don't get it. Anyway, though, we appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all so much for all y'all input on the show. Cherie, huge shout out to you again for coming through with the court documents. That was a whole lot of shit to read.
That shit was crazy.
But you are super, super dope. All y'all super dope. We appreciate y'all, man. Huge shout out to P, Ron, E. For 2, I'm Herb. Y'all be good to each other. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.